What's going on, guys? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and if you're like me, you're always looking for interesting and unique ways to sort of expand the world of your Dungeons and Dragons games. You're looking to take something, it could be as simple as like, I guess we could go into a tavern and maybe play a card game or something like that, and we could do that through dice rolls and proficiency with gaming kits and things like that, and that can be fun. But what's more fun in my mind is if you actually have a game that the players can play. So if that sounds interesting, and you like the idea of actually having just also a cool standalone board game, well, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing 3 Dragon Ante, the Legendary Edition from Wizkids Games. Stay tuned. So for those of you who don't know, 3 Dragon Ante is actually an in-universe Faerunian thing that exists. Like, it's a game you can play. If you actually look in the player's handbook under the gaming proficiencies that you can take under like the toolkits, right? You have Herbalism Kit, Poisoner's Kit, all the Artisan's tools. Under Gaming Kit, you can choose, I think, Dice, Cards, Dragon Chess, or 3 Dragon Ante. So I happen to have this older version called 3 Dragon Ante Emperor's Gambit, which was produced in 2010, and this one was actually made by Wizards of the Coast. And this one was a specific version of 3 Dragon Ante, and it said it could be played as a standalone game for 2 to 6 players, or combined with the original 3 Dragon Ante card game. And I never had that, I only had this. So now, we have from Wizkids, first of all, this box is like a cheapy little tuck box, and it's thin kind of cardboard, almost cardstock. And now we have this big hard box here from Wizkids, which again, big thank you to Wizkids Games for providing me this for review, and it has, all the information here on the back. So what does it say? A rogue, a paladin, and a warlock walk into a tavern to gather information for their next adventure. Drink something tastier than a healing potion and kick back with a game of 3 Dragon Ante, the high-stakes game of luck and skill preferred by Dungeons & Dragons characters of all classes and levels. 3 Dragon Ante Legendary Edition is a fast-paced card game for 2 to 6 players, played as a standalone game, and here's where I'm really interested to find out, or use the role-playing rules and ability discs included to add it to your next Dungeons & Dragons session. And it includes 70 standard dragon cards, 15 mortal cards, 15 legendary dragon cards, 60 cardboard gold pieces, 30 cardboard platinum pieces, 6 3DA ability discs to use for combining 3 Dragon Ante and 3DA is 3 Dragon Ante. I'm dumb. With Dungeons & Dragons, 6 reference cards, and a rule book. And it does have here 30 minutes, ages 12 plus, and 2 to 6 players. Let's go ahead and take the plastic off. I'm very excited. I saw this was going to be a thing. I was really pumped. And then, like I said, Wizkids was nice. Sorry, this chair is really squeaky. Okay, take off the lid. Here inside, we have some silica gel. Do not eat. We have our rule book, which is a nice printed and staple-bound little rule book. We'll get into that. Piece of this is a Ziploc bag, I guess, to keep your things inside. That's cool. We have 6 tokens that say ready and expended on the other side. Here are our gold dragons and our platinum dragon coins here. Actually, those aren't dragons. There's a dude on them. But anyway, these are our coins, which, again, part of 3 Dragon Ante, I believe, is a betting game, and there's currency and a luck kind of mechanic involved. So you're going to want to have these. And what could be cool, we'll have to see, but you may be able to use your real gold that you have in-game Dungeons & Dragons. And we actually have like a nice like velvet line. I don't know if you can make that out, but the D&D ampersand is sort of embossed in there. And we have, these are sort of like tarot card size cards. And we have this over here, these deck of cards. We'll open this up. And this has, right here we see, there's a legendary dragon. You can kind of, show you the cards here, right? All these different cards. I see legendary dragon. I see all these black dragons, blue overlord, brass dragons. Looks like there's dragons, and they all have a different number in the corner, similar to a playing card. Brass sultan, bronze dragon, chromatic wormling, copper Copper Trickster, Dracolich, Gold Dragon, Green Dragon. Okay, that's what's in this set. Over here, we'll put them over here, and we'll open up this side. This looks like this is going to have more cards, and then also, so these look like these are rule cards. Yeah. Yeah, so these are kind of reminder cards here, and your rules. And then over here we've got Green Dragon, Red Dragon, Silver Dragon, White Dragon. Oh, and then we get into our mortals here, right? Oops. We have the Archmage, the Dragon Rider, the Dragon Slayer, the Druid, the Fool, the Illusionist, the Kobold, the Merchant Prince, the Priest, the Princess, the Prophet, the Queen, the Sorcerer, the Thief, and the Worm Priest. Alright, so that is sort of the included section in here. Let's take a look at our rule book. So, summary of play. In 3-Dragon Ante, or 3DA for short, you and other players play gambits in which you ante gold into the stakes and then take turns playing one card at a time from your hands. After you play a card, leave it face up in front of you. If the number on your card, the strength, is equal to or lower than that of the card just played by a person on your right, or if you play first in a round, you get to use your card's special power, otherwise ignore that power. Once each player has played 3 cards, 3-Dragon Ante, check to see whose 3 cards have the highest total strength. That player wins the gold in the stakes. Keep playing gambits of 3 cards each until someone runs out of gold at the end of the gambit, ending the game. How to win: if you have the most gold in your hoard when the game ends, you win. So I full stop talked for I don't know how long before I realized that the thing had stopped. But what's interesting is there's a couple of unique rules, right? Similar to poker, if you play all the same color, that gets you a bonus, or if you play all of the same number, like 3 5s, that gets you a bonus as well. But I want to jump ahead to, there's a whole example here where we go through an example play of a whole round of combat, or a whole round of playing the game. If you guys want me to go through that individually, let me know, I'll make another video. And then it has like options for building theme decks, and I like because it has things that you might consider like I don't know, like we're playing poker, deuces are wild, or whatever the case may be. They have different options here. Where they have Druid's Party, which adds the special set of cards for the Druid. There's Pick'em, Show'em, Among Friends, Traditional Set, and Game and a Half for people who want to play a longer game. They actually have like specific sets of rules or what cards to add. Then they have Appendix 2 is slang. Below are some slang terms. Hole in the house, inviting the bronze, one of yours, playing like a dwarf, prize game, selfish silver or selfish and silver. And then they have all the card lists as well to kind of go through that. That's Appendix 3. Appendix 4 explains all the different powers of the different creatures, which is a pretty lengthy one. And then, is that it? Aha! This is what we really want. Appendix 5, role-playing rules. There's not one right answer for handling a game within a game, so you have several options for combining 3-Dragon Ante and D&D. Gamblers Unleashed, D20 skill checks. If the point of the session is that the PC gambler intends to use all their skills to make sure they win a particular game of 3-Dragon Ante, pick up the D20 instead of the cards. You're not after an interesting game of 3-Dragon Ante, you're finding out if a skilled character can manipulate their way to victory no matter how badly their cards have turned up if they were playing honestly. Depending on the circumstances and the opposition, it might be an easy, medium, or hard, or even harder sleight of hand or persuasion check. That's not what we want. We could just do that at the game regularly. Play for fun, pure roleplay. The opposite of simply rolling the d20 is to play a game with 3-Dragon Ante in character, speak in your character's voice, curse as they curse, and enjoy a card game in the middle of your role-playing. It's probably fun to let the GM play as an NPC, but not more than one. To speed the game up in the middle of a session, consider playing with 8 gold per person instead of the usual 10. So that's just playing the card game, but let's look at this one. Both games together. This is really what we want. 3-Dragon Ante with D&D. Putting the 2 games together requires some restraint from the player characters. It's not fun to play all but the last couple gambits of an in-character 3-Dragon Ante game, only to have the barbarian start a brawl that ensures the game will never finish. When the players and their PCs agree to play a full game of 3-Dragon Ante, use the following rules to add a touch of each character's abilities to an otherwise straightforward 3-Dragon Ante game. Once per game abilities with recharge. At the start of a 3DA game involving PCs, give each PC or NPC a 3DA ability disc, which was those first things we saw. This one, the ready and expended, showing its colorful side up. The colorful side shows that the ability is ready. The grayed out side shows that the ability has been expended. When the character uses one of the card draw, anti-manipulation, or card denial abilities, flip their disc to its grayed out expended side. The character can't use any of their 3DA abilities until they recharge by scoring a special flight. So that was the color, kind of all the same color, all the same strength. That's how they get it back. When the character scores a special flight, flip their disc back to its colorful ready side. They're again eligible to trigger one of their 3DA abilities when the opportunity arises. Scoring a special flight when your 3DA ability is ready doesn't give you another use of your 3DA ability. And here it says choosing abilities. Before play begins, each player should look at one of the following Dungeons & Dragons character features and note 2 abilities that they qualify for. At the GM's discretion, an extremely talented gambler could have 3 or even 4 abilities, or a bad gambler could only have 1. Each ability lists a prerequisite that the character must possess and a situational trigger that allows the ability to be used. Some of the abilities are better than others in the sense that they're more likely to come up, and that's intentional. If your PC isn't a skillful gambler, you'll take what you get. If the game has a GM, abilities chosen don't have to be public, only the GM needs to know until they're used. If the game doesn't have a GM, make your chosen abilities public from the start. The 3 categories of ability. There are a number of prerequisites and triggers, but there are only 3 categories of ability. Card draw abilities, anti-manipulation abilities, and card denial abilities. Future options. If your PC has a new ability that seems perfect for helping them play 3DA, figure out whether it counts for a card draw, anti-manipulation, or card denial. Then use one of the existing triggers or design your own with the permissions from your fellow players. So here it has card draw abilities. When you use most of the card draw abilities listed below, you draw 2 extra cards. A couple of the card draw abilities have an additional bonus effect, and 2 abilities have such useful triggers that they're balanced with a twist that makes them only half as good. So Desperation. Prerequisite, you make a convincing case to the GM that you feel like your character can't afford another loss. Trigger, you end a gambit with single-digit gold. Blessing of the Trickster, your PC has the trickery domain. The opponent to your left wins a gambit, is the trigger, which lets you draw. Again, remember that the prerequisite is what you need to do it. The trigger is that what's going to cause it to happen, and your card draw abilities, unless otherwise noted, is you get to draw 2 extra cards. Draconic Ancestry, you're a Dragonborn. You play 2 cards in the same gambit that match your dragon ancestry. For example, if you're a Dragonborn with a red dragon ancestry, and you use the ability to draw a card the moment you play your second red dragon gambit. Twist, this is the unique thing. You only get to draw 1 extra card, not 2, because you're already close to making a color flight and recharging your ability. Fast Hands, you're proficient with Sleight of Hand. Trigger, you steal gold from the stakes. Twist, you get to draw 1 extra card, not 2, but you steal 1 extra gold. Gambling Background, you convince the GM that your PC's background qualifies them as an experienced gambler. And the trigger is you ante a card at the start of the gambit. Your ante card at the start of the gambit is 4 more points higher than your next strongest ante card. Inspiring Leader, your PC has a charisma score of 16 plus or is good aligned. Trigger, you play the lowest or tied for lowest ante card, and the twist is after you draw 2 bonus cards, each of your opponents draws an extra card. Practice Counts, you own a 3 dragon ante deck, meaning in-game. Yes, we mean either you the PC or you the player. Trigger is at least 2 opponents have their ability discs flipped to the expended side. Versatile Trickster, your PC is a rogue or other hero with the arcane trickster archetype. Trigger is after you buy cards. And then we get to the anti-manipulation cards. So these ones do, when you use one of the 2 anti-manipulation abilities, as players ante to start a new gambit, the opponent who played the highest untied ante card gains an extra 2d6 gold. That's pretty big. Confusingly Smooth. Your PC is proficient with, this is an anti-manipulation. So there's anti-manipulation, I guess it's just 2. There's only 2 options. Sorry. Your PC is proficient with Persuasion. You reveal, and the trigger is you reveal a card that's 2 strength or weaker from your hand as a player's ante up. Or Threats and Promises, you're proficient with Intimidation. The trigger is you reveal a card that's 11 strength or stronger from your hand as player's ante up. And then we get to card denial. There's 2 of those. When you use one of the 2 card denial abilities, a player who has paid to buy new cards only fills their hand to 3 cards instead of filling it to 4. Cutting words. Your PC has the Bardic College of Lore cutting words features. Very specific. I like that. And the trigger is an opponent with a weaker flight than you is buying cards. And magical discouragement. Your PC can cast at least 1 enchantment spell. And the trigger is an opponent who has won at least 1 gambit. This game is buying cards. And then lastly, it ends with a glossary. So that's it, guys. That's 3 Dragon Ante. Kind of a very quick, in a nutshell, way to go through it. If you're interested in this and want to see more, want me to go through the rules on a more specific thing, or what I think would probably be the most fun would be me to sit down with some folks and actually play through the game, whether it be just to play the game or to play through it in character. This could be something fun that I could add to one of my Tuesday games, and I'd love to see what you guys think. Let me know. Are you a fan? Did you pick up a copy of the 3 Dragon Ante Legendary Edition for yourself? Have you owned decks in the past? Is this your first time you're hearing about it? And what are your thoughts? Do you want to play it standalone, just use skill checks in your games to cover it, or do a cool combination of the 2? Anyway, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more content like this in the future, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next unboxing, review, whatever video.